My beautiful angels. How is everybody doing? I didn't even do my little introduction thing today. I was so excited. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I am just getting all my little things here ready. Check in, QR codes, making sure that we're live. Hope everybody's doing good. How was your Easter holiday? If you celebrate Easter, some people celebrate other things such as Passover. Some people are still celebrating the new year of April 1st, according to the Julian calendar. Some people are just celebrating spring and all of the life that that brings. It's all perfect. It's all wonderful. It's all exactly how it's meant to be. Today, we're talking about, are you psychic? Being psychic is one of the things that I've had so many people say to me, "Oh, I'm not psychic. I'm not psychic. No, I'm not intuitive. I'm not psychic. I'm not." And, I want to tell you, in the 22 years that I have been fully conscious that I'm psychic, I've been psychic since I was a kid, but I was also raised religiously where that was a bad thing, right? So we close it down. A lot of people do. But hey, Jody, how you doing, honey? I When I started my spiritual journey, back like 1998, I know, back in the 1900s. um, I knew I was psychic because I'd been that way since I was a kid and had so many different um, experiences and stuff that were just weird, that you just can't explain. And everybody has these things, whether you're a psychic or not. But one thing that I've really came to realize is that this psychic thing isn't a phenomena for a chosen few. Everybody has it. It's part of our like innate abilities. It's part of who we are. It's God-given, And when I started realizing that, there was like everybody had it. And part of the reason I knew that, and that's part of what the title is, how do I know? I can see it on people and I can feel it. I can feel when people are psychic, right? And there's very few people that I've ever been around that doesn't have some level of psychic ability. And here's the thing, it's not whether you have the ability, it's about whether it's opened up within you. So there's a lot of people that don't have a lot of connection to that, right? And usually they're people that are kind of disconnected from everything. And there's a lot of different levels and layers and way that this psychic thing expresses. A lot of people think that being psychic means that you see angels or see demons, and that's not it at all. There's so many different levels. People that are empathic, that feel things, that's psychic, right? People that see things vividly in their mind, that's psychic. People that get just direct knowing, like you just kind of know things, but you don't know how you know, but you know that you know it, that's psychic. Some people hear things, that's psychic. Some people think being psychic means that you're going to get information that's meaningful, that's telling you what to do. Well, that happens sometimes, but that's not the only thing that being psychic is. It's a feeling, it's a knowing, it's a guidance system that we have. Parents, people have children. Women have it a lot stronger than men in general, but men have it too, where all of a sudden you just know something's wrong with your kid or something's happening or you need to go check on them because, my spidey senses are telling me something's up, right? And you go in their room and they're drawing with permanent markers on the wall, right? And a lot of people say, "Oh, well, gets quiet. I know they're in trouble." But there's an extra sense that is at work that we have. Another thing is people that have trauma in childhood, which who doesn't, right? But there's different levels and layers of that too. They tend to have a sixth sense because they have had to go on hyper alert in their world, that's a psychic sense too, you know? People that can feel, like, have you ever felt somebody and you're like, "Oh, it doesn't appear to be anything wrong with that person, but I don't want to be in this around this person, or I don't want to go to this place." It's like everything in you is like, no. I actually had one time I was getting on a plane, and this is kind of a classic thing, and I was just like, I could not bring myself to get on that plane. Now, nothing happened. Plane didn't crash, nothing like that. And I'm not afraid of flying. But something told me, do not get on that plane. And I never saw any reason why, but I was really glad that I didn't, because whatever it was avoided, you know. And you just get these feelings, driving down the road. And I use this as a classic thing because I've had this happen so many times. Where it's like I'm driving down the road and I'm going to Home Depot, and all of a sudden it's like turn into Target. It's like, oh God, I don't want to go to Target. Turn in. It's like, I don't want to go to Target. I'm heading to Home Depot. I'm on a mission, man. Turn. It's not even a voice. It's just it's like an impulse. It's like turn in, and several times I've either run into people that I've been wanting to meet or to see again. Couple of times I've ran into people from 20 years past. It was like, oh, I ran into an old school friend one time, didn't even know that she lived like, I don't know, not even a mile away from me, and had been for many, many years. And, we kind of got back together and have been having a great time. It's things like that. That's all psychic. It's all under the umbrella. The psychic umbrella is a very big umbrella. And as I've been working in this, I train people to be psychic. I actually have a class coming up this Saturday, which is April 15th. That is, everybody is psychic. Learn to develop your psychic senses. Learn how to open it. That's all it is. It's not whether you're psychic or not. It's learning to use that, learning to use it, learning to open up, learning what it is, learning how to open and close, learning how to be aware of it, and learning different ways to use it. In this class that I'm doing, we're going to work with doing oracle cards. Like I do oracle cards, I read you oracle cards. Well, there's a whole lot going on in these oracle cards. I'm going to teach you how to do that. I'm going to teach you kind of the basics of using a pendulum, which is fun. Where's my little pendulum? I meant to, oh, this is one of them. I got a big old clunking pendulum, but it's really powerful. We're going to learn how to use a pendulum to get yes and no. This is all the little tools of being a psychic. We're going to learn how to do automatic writing, where you just kind of let your hand, you just kind of go into meditative state, kind of let your hand just do whatever it does. And we're also going to learn to kind of practice with direct transmissions. So that's going to be really fun. Everybody is psychic. You just need to learn how to use it. And I'm going to tell you one of the secrets. It's the secrets that's in the class, is it has to do with your chakras and the health and the well-being of your chakras. It's really, really important. So we're going to learn a little bit about chakras. Most people know, but going to go deeper into why your chakras are such a part of it, and how your particular clair senses that we're going to learn about are connected to the chakras, and why it's so important. Your energy field, your frequency is everything. And we're learning that now, huh? It's part of the great awakening that we're in. And so it's really, really important that we understand how all that works, because you guys are psychic. All of you folks that are sitting here, you're all psychic. Some of you know. How many of you guys know that you're psychic? How many of you guys know that there's something that you have that guides you? Something within you knows and guides you, and that you've been able to listen to or maybe ignore. Another question: how many of you guys have had those impulses of knowing, and then you've ignored it, and then you're really bummed that you don't? And I tell you what, one of the biggies is, oh, I shouldn't date this guy, or I shouldn't date this girl. This is bad. And then you're like, but they're so nice. Oh, but something's telling me don't do it. Oh, but everybody says they're such good people. And you continue going. And later on, you're like, oh man, I should have listened myself at the beginning, right? So there's a lot of different ways that our psychic abilities can really help us. And it's important that we start using it, because it's part of our navigation system. And that's the best way I like to put it. It's part of our navigation system. It's part of the system that we have that connects us with our higher self, our higher knowing, to God, to Christ consciousness, to angels, to masters, to all the great beings, to our beloved ones on the other side. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I could never do mediumship. Well, really, everybody does have that if they'll let that be in there. What has happened is, there is a lot of religion, that's come in the last couple thousand years that have told us all that is bad. And I hate to think that people would say and lie, especially religious people would lie on purpose. I think maybe they believe that for whatever reason, but that all that stuff is of the devil, and that you had to then go through them to get to God, right? And in order to go through them, you had to give them your money, basically, your funds, your valuable things, your children, sometimes even, right? In order to get to God, where all along we've had this psychic sense is how we connect to God and all that God is. And that is the real way. I know that every single one of you are psychic, because every single one of you are connected to God, whether you know it or not. And when I say God, I don't mean a religious God. I mean all that is, the creator energy, whatever words we use. As we're awakening, we're getting more and more fun words to use for that. The universe, the all that is, the one. I like to use eternal loving presence, connecting to Jesus or Yeshua, Emmanuel, whatever words we use for that Christ consciousness that is that pure unconditional love. And honestly, we all seek that. We all seek that. We seek that unconditional love. We seek that presence that brings us into peace and harmony and that energy of like everything's okay. And we seek it so much, but it's also been very elusive, not illusionary. The not being connected is an illusion. We're always connected. It's whether we're aware of it, it's whether we're conscious of it. It's whether we take the time to practice things or learn things to help us to use it again. Because it's really been the, oh no, it's bad, right? Nope, nope, nope. It's bad. It's of the devil. It's not of the devil. How could something God gave us to connect to him, her, they, them, that be bad? How could that be evil? It can't. It can't possibly be. And we really need to put those belief systems aside. And you know what makes me so happy? So many of my clients are Christians, are Catholics, are religious people, Mormons, Muslims, Jewish people, Catholics, Christian, Presbyterians, all the umbrella of all that. A lot of them come to me because they feel like they need that help in connecting. And that's what I love to do. It's funny because I do kind of advertise myself as a psychic, but really what I do is I connect people to their psychic stuff. So I might do readings for people, but I don't want people to have to keep coming back to me all the time. I want to teach them how to do it themselves. That's what I'm here for. But I'm a good psychic, I'm connected really good. So I use that to bless and help people too. But I would much rather teach people to fish than to fish for them, than to give them the fish, right? And that's part of what Jesus taught us too. The other thing, I have a lot of Christians and Catholics and even other religion people come to me is because I do believe in that higher thing and that everybody's connected. And I love Jesus. I do. And you guys have heard me say it a lot, right? Where it's like, oh man, I love Jesus. And I really, really do. But so many of the religion, the belief systems that have come from that is the psychic thing is evil. And I'll tell you what, I have, every time I do any kind of YouTube or outspoken thing about this, I always have someone that comes back around and starts heckling me, right? About being evil and spreading the word of the devil and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sorry that we have that belief system around it, but I just don't believe that. I believe that we're found in God. And I'm going to follow that up with, there are people that have psychic abilities that do use it to hurt people. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in, until we all begin to realize that, we're all one organism that works together. And anytime we hurt another, we hurt ourselves. We're always going to have that dichotomy. But I really wanted to share that with you guys. And I really wanted to share with you, that I'm doing a class. My classes aren't hundreds and hundreds of dollars. This one, if you sign up by Thursday, so I can plan for you coming, is only, I think it's $33, $44. I don't remember how much I put it up there. I think it's $44 that you can come and have a 3-hour class and learn how to do this and learn how to really tap in and really strengthen. And I leave you with a lot of practices and stuff that you can go practice. And learn how to do it, learn how to use your skills, learn how to tap into this natural state that you guys have, because it's beautiful and it's wonderful and it's weird and it's magical. And I love sharing it with people. So guys, let me know how many of you guys, and I also want to make sure the chat's working. How many of you guys have experienced what you think is being psychic? How many of you guys have done this? Ooh, a kitty cat's here. He's getting ready to jump up. He's making his weekly, his monthly debut. How many of you guys have had those psychic experiences where you just know that you know, or maybe you've seen something out of the corner of your eye, or maybe you've seen something. I just had somebody recently come to me saying that they kept seeing like a mist in their room, like they'd wake up in like a mist, like a little thing of fog. And it turned out it was her father who'd crossed over about a year before, who was just wanting to come back and just be around her and let her know that he loves her. And there's so many different ways that we can experience it. Some of us have psychic experiences where it's very, very physical, where something actually comes into our presence that is a guide, an angel, a master being. Some of us just know stuff. So many different ways to experience it. So I really hope that you guys have had those experiences too. And I love to think that you're here to start learning about that, because, it's part of the reason that I do this spiritual chit chat, and I do this show every week after week after week. I've been doing it for, oh my gosh, since before the pandemic. I did take a break, but it's probably been about 3 years now that I've been doing this on a weekly basis. I've missed a few times, to share all this information, all of this stuff, these little things that I've gleaned along the way, these little things that I know. I've taken so many classes, and I've gotten, I have, a bachelor's degree, and I've got a master's degree, and I've got another bachelor's degree, and I've got certifications. I used to have an office that had a whole wall, and I had someone tell me that it was obnoxious. And so I took them all down because I've really wanted to learn too. I wanted to learn everything that I could learn, that I could then come and share with you. And that's why I do this, is to share. And being psychic thing is really big. Another thing that I really wanted to talk about it too is because, for one thing, we're in this great awakening, right? We're in this time where people are awakening, where things are being revealed. And that's part of what it is. Had a lot of people coming to me and they're like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I can feel everything. I've had a couple of people come to me that they feel like they can read people's minds. They're not reading or hearing what other people are talking about, like we've seen on TV and stuff, but they're feeling what other people are thinking. It's another kind of psychic acuity, right? It would fall under the auspice of like being an empath, but where you can feel it. A lot of people are feeling, and so they're feeling super sensitive. They're feeling kind of raw. They're feeling a little bit like, ooh, like they're almost like their skin's on inside out, where you can really feel it. I've had a couple people come to me, and I have had this experience too, where they cannot stand to go to places where there's lots of people, because they just feel, and they feel like, oh, ooh, ow, ooh, ah, ah, they feel the full range of glorious heaven, peace and harmony. That's the people that are probably meditating all the time and going to yoga and eat pure food, do all the do. And then somebody who's angry, or somebody who's having a bad day, or somebody who's maybe sick, and somebody who's just like their mind is just turned off. And you can start feeling that and stuff. And it can be very disorienting. It can be very confusing and be a little bit scary. It is. It really can be scary. But the secret is to learn about it. Learn about it instead of trying to stuff it down, is to learn about it. And that's why I'm doing this class on Saturday, and talking about it this week, especially because I'm noticing a lot of people are really popping open this week. I think between what I'm calling the spring equinox, the return of the light, just the spring energy, everything's popping open. So are we. So is humanity, just all of the place of the universal longitude and latitude that we're living in is all about awakening. And we've got this huge solar eclipse that's coming up next week. We've got Easter, that is a big celebration of love and peace and harmony, and the ascension, the rising of the Christ consciousness, which is love. And part of that opening to that love, and part of loving is feeling, right? It's like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know I had to feel stuff when I love. Well, yeah, that's kind of part of it. That's part of it. And when we first start feeling that, it can be disorienting. So I do want you guys to know that not only, am I here talking about it this week, and for you guys to ask questions in a little bit when I'm going to pull a couple cards, but also, I've got this class coming up. I've got a spirit circle on this Thursday as well. If you want to find out more about guides and angels and stuff like that, I'm doing readings for people. And so that's all on my website at micheleamburgey.com. And as a matter of fact, let me throw that on there just so you guys can see, go over to micheleamburgey.com. If you go to my Conscious Living Academy, the tab, there's a calendar on there. There's all kinds of stuff that you can go on there and take a look at what I got going on. I got a lot of stuff going on. I've got classes that you guys can buy. Like even this Everybody is Psychic class will be up there to purchase probably within the next couple of weeks after I do it. I like to have that up there because not everybody wants to take a class, right? Not everybody wants to be with other people. Some people are better at being, learning on their own, or some people can't make it too. I do most of my classes on Saturdays, and, people have kids and lives and stuff like that. So I try to make it as available to you guys as possible. So because I want to make sure that nobody's out there like just wandering around confused, I guess is what it is. And the reason I say this, because that's kind of what I was doing. I would just remember being, what is going on? I've shared this before, and I'll share it with you guys again. When I first started opening up my psychic senses and everything started going, I actually did it through, I was going to a pranic healing meditation evening years ago. And, they have really intense meditations. And I remember it wasn't, I don't know, maybe I've been going for a couple of months, but all of a sudden I was at work and I was still working in corporate. I was an accountant in a law firm. I mean, talk about being in the matrix, right? And I went outside to go grab something for lunch. And all of a sudden I realized that it's like the top of my head was missing. And I could see with my third eye sight, which I didn't realize at the time that what that was, I could see up through the top of my head. And on that day, it was raining. So I could see the rain coming down as if it were coming down into the top of my head. Absolutely freaked me out. And it lasted for probably a couple of hours. And it was really weird. I had to go back into the office and I could see the office ceiling as I was walking through, and where my little cubicle, I was a QB working, had this great big huge ceiling. It was like a 30-foot high ceiling, and there was glass walls around. And as I was there, I could see what was going like all around. All the lawyers and the higher ups, like the biggie bigs, all had offices up there with glass that looked down on the bullpen, right? Us little people, the accountants in the law firm. And I could see all of it without even looking up. And then finally it kind of started to fade and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. When I got home that day, I called the guy that was doing that meditation. I'm like, what is going on? He was like, well, I'm not sure. I'm like, well, you better get sure, because I'm freaking out. I kind of stopped for a little bit. It kind of dimmed down a little bit, but then I continued going and continued doing more and more. And I had a lot of really weird experiences like that. So things like that can happen. But, 20, 22, 23 years ago, however long that's been, it's been a long time. Not a lot of people talked about this. And now you can find stuff on places like this here on YouTube and where we're streaming this out, where you can get information and where you can, come to find things. So I hope that this helps you guys. I hope that this has some interest for you. I hope that maybe it's made you think about maybe where you've experienced your psychic senses, maybe where you've had experiences, and maybe, thinking about like, well, maybe that is like an intuitive sense that I have going on. Maybe that is part of it. And I would love to have people, begin to realize that this whole intuition psychic thing is one of the ways that we connect to God, in whatever way you believe, my experiences have showed me that God kind of exists everywhere. Kind of a Native American and many other traditions, but way of thinking is God is everywhere, in the rocks and the trees and the grass and the sky, the sun and the earth and all that kind of stuff. It's everywhere because I feel it. I feel life everywhere. And it's wonderful when you can begin to connect and use these senses, and the basic psychic senses, are feeling, are seeing, which is not typically seeing with your eyes. It's in that inner vision, right? It's seeing with that third eye vision. It's an inner view. And it doesn't come across as a movie explaining it all. It's flashes. I get things that are flashes. I get like a moose, a strawberry, a river, and, the corner of a gingham dress. And I got to figure out what that means. That's why we train to be psychics too. We start learning that. But then we have other, when you develop all of your different psychic senses, you have all the senses that are helping you to decipher all that too. So it's really cool. It's really cool. So I hope I'll see some of you in the class. We're going to be talking about that. And so let's get on with, anybody have questions? I'm not seeing anything come. I saw Jody make an appointment. Make a comment about 15 minutes ago, and I'm not seeing any comments here. So I would love to see some comments to see if this is working here. Boop. It's kind of looking like maybe it isn't. All right. Let me hang on a second, because I know it looks like there's 8 or 9 of you here, but I'm not seeing. So let me go see if we got something. Because I know I've asked you guys to make comments and I haven't seen them come across. So let's see. I'm going to go to YouTube, see if it's happening over there. Sometimes YouTube gets kind of funkified too, So how is everybody? Do you guys have a good Easter? Aha, I'm seeing you guys are making comments. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. For some reason, they're not showing up on Restream. Oops. Boop, boop, boop. So I'm going to look at my my YouTube thing here because for some reason it's not showing up. So I want to say, hey, Luana, Karen, Blue Iris. Oh, I love that blue iris. That's cool, Anita. Moon is here. Beautiful. Michele is here. Okay, cool. All right. So if anybody has questions, I'm going to be doing this over here and then I'll figure out what the hey-ho is going on. The hey-ho is going on with my thing here. Jody Keneally. Jody, I'm going to answer your question first. I know that you've moved recently. So let me pull you a card with your question. And Jody is just saying that she's recently moved and is kind of wondering about how to get her work moving along. So let's pull you some cards and then go ahead and go ahead. I don't know what's going on. Go ahead, write your, hey, Christy, go ahead and write your questions in the chat on YouTube there, and we'll go from there. Okay, so Jody, darling. Okay, Jody, I'm actually going to pull you 3 cards here, honey. The first card, the first card that I got here, clearing out old stories. Okay, clearing out old stories. Making a way for the new. This is a new beginning for you. This is a very, very new beginning for you. And so it's like it's time to get rid of the old stories, get rid of the old way of thinking of things. Stop trying to do things the same way. The next one is called the Star Beings. It's time to answer the call that's really coming up from within. And that's why they're saying get rid of the old stories and the old way you've done things and the things that you think you're supposed to do. It's really you have this opportunity to do things very differently. Are you going to be doing the same things? Maybe. I feel like that there's some different stuff that you're going to be doing, but it's like don't do them the way you've been doing before. You have an impulse within you. You have like something stirring within you that is wanting you to do things differently. And I'm feeling like not that you're scared, because you're not a person who's scared, but it's kind of like you're trying to get everything going. It's like you're trying to do it and you're still doing everything the same way, and it's not going to work for you anymore. You've got other things. It's like letting that creative guidance come up from within. Definitely make sure that you're doing like prayer and meditation, do some automatic writing and journaling on this. But I'm also getting angelic frequency. I don't know if you're connecting with the angels. That doesn't look very angelic, does it? But it's angelic. Ask the angels to help you, Jody. Ask them to help you. There's something about this where you're at in everything. There's something about where you're at in all of this that is going to reconnect you deeper to who you are and how to do all of this stuff. And the angels have something to do with it. And I'm not talking about, oh, the angels. I'm talking about, yeah, the angels kind of a thing. These powerful God created beings who are here to help us. It's so wonderful because the angels were made, they were brought into the mainstream by a lot of different things, but part of what has happened too, where it's like, whatever, it's angels, right? No big deal, it's angels. It is a big deal. It's a very big deal. And there's a lot of power and strength there. And the angels are coming. It's almost like they kind of move their energy away and now they're coming in again, Jody. And you're really being guided to to connect with those angels. You're really, really being guided to connect with those angels, to allow yourself to move into that and to let go of the way you've been doing it and allow this new inspiration that's coming to you to help you to do it the way I'm going to say this, and I don't say this that much, but doing it the way you're supposed to be doing it now. It's not that you were doing it wrong before. It's just that it's different now and you're different now. And there's another way to do things that's going to be way better for you. And you've been asking for that. You've been asking for that. So Jody, I hope that helps you. I hope that bring, and I can just feel it. It's like the idea is like it's in your belly. It's almost like it's like it's on your lips. It's like I can taste it. It's right there. Take some time to let that come up and form within you. Hi, Susie. Welcome. If you guys have a question, I'm pulling cards now. I've got Kyle Gray. I don't think I showed you guys. We're using Kyle Gray's card, Gateway of Light Activation, to pull some cards for you guys. For anybody that's joining, where my chat's having kind of a weird thing. So go ahead. If you have a question, put it in there. Karen, is there anything I need to know? Well, let's ask them. Let's ask these angels of light and love who are here for you. You're welcome, Jody. You're welcome, honey. So, Karen, it's very interesting. Is there anything you need to know right now? Yeah, part of what, let me get that card out of here. Part of what you need to know is an understanding that you're part of something much greater than what you've ever thought. And you've got this card, the Order of Melchizedek. This is the ancient lineages of beings that, like Jesus came from. Melchizedek was even pre-King Solomon, which has been, I don't know, thousands, tens of thousands of years ago. Nobody really has a way of dating all this stuff. But you're part of something that's far greater than what you think. And you're really being asked to start contemplating on that. And it's neat because the next card you got is Star Gathering. And it says, stars aligned, remembering home, soul family. Check that out. Isn't that cool? You know, Karen, I feel like I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, is there's something greater than what you've thought possible that is getting ready to come through you. It wants to come through you. And this is something that we need to remember too. Oh my gosh, my nose is tickling. Is we're now in a state where we understand that, and I'm just going to use the word God, right? You guys know that I don't mean like a religious God or a God on a cloud waiting to zap us with a lightning bolt, but this creation. We've come to a point where we're beginning to really realize that this creation creates through us, not to us, right? It's like, oh, dear God, bring me a house, and a house arrives on your doorstep, right? It's, oh God, bring me a house, show me what to do. And we begin to get inspired as to take steps in what to do so that we can accomplish that. And I'm feeling like that's what's happening with you, Karen. It's like God is moving through you. Give yourself permission to let it be bigger and broader and more magnificent than you've ever possibly considered. And you don't have to know what it is. You just have to say yes. You just have to say yes. I know that God can bring through me the greatest thing that God is. And I'm willing. I'm willing to learn about that, know what that is. You got good stuff coming up, Karen. You really do. Moon is saying, does Father Time play a specific role in my life? Father Time, that's a big concept. That can be considered the planet Saturn, which is connected with that Father Time. We live in a 15th dimensional time matrix that is wrapped around the concept that there is time at all. And so, sure, it does play a role for as long as you are in the matrix or choose to be a part of the matrix. That we have a time matrix. Our matrix, this whole thing that we're in, is guided or kind of lined up with time. And so, sure, absolutely, until you decide not to. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? That's part of this getting off this matrix, disconnecting from the matrix, is disconnecting from all those things the matrix is. And time is one thing. Father time, that father time is actually kind of a belief system more than it is an actual thing. Although we do have all consented to being in a matrix where a linear time concept is something that we are abiding by. But times are here, and actually we're at 4:44 here in Southern California. So that's a portal of energy coming through, and we can step off that time matrix too, and that's part of what awakening is. So I hope that helps, Moon. Okay, Michele Montemayor, what blessings will I receive next? Well, what blessings you asking for? What blessings are you saying yes to? What blessings are you open to? You know that. Here's a blessing that's coming to you. Swords of light, divine protection. Make sure you're cutting the cords of the things in the past and get ready for breakthrough energy. You have some things that you're still connected to that are still kind of blocking you, Michele. Not blocking you, draining you. It's time to really cut those cords of the things just aren't lifting you anymore. It doesn't mean you hate the person or the situation. It doesn't mean they can't be in your life, but you got to cut those draining cords and let those people rise to their greatest so that maybe you can be, and I feel like it is people, to maybe give them an opportunity to rise to their greatest so that you can be side by side instead of this unequal kind of a thing. And I know you know what it is, but yeah, you got great things coming. This is cool. Divine protection, cut cords, breakthrough energy. Give yourself an opportunity to be greater than you are. That's a big part of the messages that are coming through today, huh? Be greater than you ever thought you were. So Susie is saying, I'm frustrated. I don't have a car. Okay, well, you're asking a whole bunch of questions here. Let me pull you some cards. Honey. We be shuffling. Yeah. All right. So all these questions that Susie's asking. Let me have some cards around this. This is cool. Susie. One of the things that the card that's coming up, I kind of stopped for a minute because I had a lot of energy like around, like what you're asking has a lot of this going on, and I kind of let it settle down, like kind of like fluff the fur of the cat down, right? The first card that I pulled for you is called Hawthorne Light Codes. The Hawthorns are really related to frequency stuff, to what the frequency is, and it's also related to like toning, chanting, that kind of stuff. This card is talking about full system upgrade and power recall. This is again asking you the Hawthorns, and you can see the Hawthorns basically as three. They're three goddesses, actually four, but they seem to come in this group of threes, where they're talking about getting into your beingness and use your energy to focus into what you're wanting. I'm feeling like this car thing. I know you have there's some things around it. I'm feeling like the car thing is going to straighten itself out. It's like it's coming pretty quickly. Time is really hard to play with right now because time is bending. Matter of fact, who was asking about Father Time? Mood is talking about Father Time. Time is not like what it used to be. There are a lot of people that are learning to bend time. There are beings with agendas of control that are trying to bend time, strengthen time, lengthen time, shorten time, bend time around things. And so time is kind of weird right now. I used to be able to see timelines and get ideas of lengths of time, but I'm getting 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks for you, Susie, 2 weeks. And I feel like that's around the car. There's also another card that popped out when I was pulling cards for you. And it's a card of embracing sensitivity, uniqueness. Your situation is unique. And it's also living with grace. Grace, a lot of people think living with grace is keeping your mouth shut and being a good girl. It isn't what it is at all. It's living in the divine flow without struggle. It's allowing God to work in, through, and as you in whatever way it is. And a lot of times it's not what we want right away. But it's cool because this other card is going full system upgrade. It's like something is going on with you right now where it's like all this stuff that's happened, it's shifting everything so that you're going to get more of what you want, more of what you've really been asking for, more of what's really in alignment with you. And so you are being asked to be patient, honey. And I know the P word is like the worst when we want things to happen. But I'm also being told, oh, I'm getting chills. I'm also being told you're okay. You know, you're okay. Settle in. Do some meditation, do some chanting or toning. Just om, you know, and allow yourself to use the gifts of the Hathors. And Hathor is spelled Hathors. If you don't know about them, Google them because they're all about chanting. You also want to look up Tom Kenyon. He works with the Hathors too. I'm feeling like there's something about that as far as a practice or an awareness that's kind of calling to you as well. So I hope that helps you, honey. I hope that helps you. Yeah, and your friend, yeah, cool. He's going to do good. He's going to do good. Blue. A dear friend has a weird life-altering, not life-threatening. Thank you for clarifying. Medical condition. Will it go away, and how can I support her? Yeah, patient. I know, Susie, that's the worst message I ever want to give anybody. Oh, be patient. It's like, no, kill the messenger. Right? Yeah, patient. And you're good. You've learned patience. You're the master of patience, Susie. So blue iris. I love that. That's so pretty. You know what? I want to say, and I'm calling you blue. Blue iris. Calling you blue. I'm feeling very, very strong that this weird life-altering situation I almost want to cry. It is something that is going to help her. God, I'm just feeling like as soon as she focuses on the spirituality of it and lets go of kind of I'm just getting like this, what is going on? Letting go and move into the spirituality of it. Here's the card I pulled. The Seraphim Gateway. I'm going to call it the Seraphi Gateway. The Seraphi and the Elohai are here helping humanity right now. And it's about voice activation, angelic attunement, and divine support. This is the card that's being pulled for your friend. And I feel like that she may even be of the Seraphi Elohai angelic beings. A lot of us are going through physical manifestations that are really uncomfortable, that are making us have to depend on God, divine support. We have to turn to faith. We have to walk in faith. We have to understand that we are greater than what we think we are. And this is for a lot of you people that are watching this here too, by the way. Voice activations, toning, oming, karayasata, doing chanting, Om Gum Guna Pataye Namaha, using the voice, expressing that voice, letting the resonance of the voice vibrate through the body. It's something that's going to help to heal her. Will it go away? She has lessons and things she has to do. Learning to understand frequencies, chakras, and the power of her voice in chant and meditation. Huge for her. The Seraphi are the ones that work in the primal sound fields for creation. They are the angelic realms, high, like 13th dimensional angelic realms, who take God's primal light of creation, gives it to the Elohai and the Seraphi, and they help to bring it into manifestation. They step it down into the different dimensions. We live in a 15th dimensional time matrix. They step it down for it to manifest in these different dimensions and the different energy frequencies that they are. And some of it comes all the way down this third dimension where we're in density. And this is something that she needs to be aware of. The Seraphim Gateway. Huge. Huge for her. Huge for her. So I hope that helps. I know that was really a big thing that I just said to her, but what she's going through is a really big thing and not a bad thing at all. It's an awakening for her. It's her awakening. A lot of people think our awakening is, it's not. It's holy crap. Right? But it's amazing because sometimes that's that spiritual 2x4, right? So let me know how she's doing. Linda is saying, oh, Linda. Well, let me tell you, I'm doing a class on Saturday that you need to be there. I will tell you everything about it. One of the first things that's important is understand truly what the chakras are and what they're about, how your psychic senses use your chakras and bring in information and share information. You need to know how to protect your energy fields and also how to read your own psychic language. And that class is everything. Honey, it's only like $44. It's only like $44. If you really want to know the answer to that, come to the class. It's huge. It's huge. But to start with, if you can't do that on Saturday, it starts at 10 Pacific time. Everybody second guesses it because it requires us to open up our imagination, and we've been programmed that our imagination is bad or of the devil, and so people think, oh, I'm just making it up. Well, that's what it feels like because we use the tool of the imagination. The imagination is a portal. It's a portal. And it's a portal that the divine uses, and it's not necessarily an outer portal. It's an inner portal. I know. It's crazy. That's why I do classes and don't answer them with one card. But here, Linda, here's your card. Sacred inner space. Sacral chakra, Kundalini energy, tenderness, and sensuality. That is the answer. What do you need to know to increase your psychic abilities? Here it is. Sacred inner space. You got to know your inner space. Got to have a connection to the inner space, to your inner voice, to your inner temple, to your heart. Come to my class. Come to my class. I keep my prices low for a reason, so that people can come to my classes and learn this stuff. It's so important. So 3-hour class, you're going to get so much information. It's going to blow your mind. So I hope that that helps. And Blue is saying thank you. She's the kindest person, always wants to help. Ooh, yeah. Well, and that's part of Blue. That's what a lot of people who are givers, always wanting to help, they give until they're blown out. They're burnt out. They're blown out. And then they have to stop and they have to start receiving. And that is when their spiritual path starts, when they have to stop. They can't keep going and doing and giving and not take that in breath of receiving. And that's what's going on with her right now. So, guys, we are just about at 5:00 here in the Southland. So, thank you all for coming. I'm sorry that the chat was being funky wonky, and I didn't really see you guys at first. You're welcome, Linda. You're welcome, Linda. I hope that that helps. You know, that's such a huge question that people ask. How do I become psychic? Oh my God, there's so much to know. But and when I teach about being psychic, I want you guys to do it the right way. So you're doing it safely. So they're in those super high frequencies. So you're tapping into the highest energies. You know, there's some people that are psychic that do really low vibe stuff, and it's like they're not helping anything. So I love you guys. Thank you for coming. And I hope y'all had a great Easter. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we have meditation. We do a little spiritual teaching, and then I do a really deep, profound meditation. And you can check all this stuff out on my website, micheleamburgey.com. If you haven't gone over there, go check it out. I have so much stuff going on, you guys. I've got if you look at my Conscious Living Academy, it's got my calendar. It's got all my classes, all my YouTubes that are going on. You can buy classes, recorded classes, and recorded meditations on there. There's all kinds of stuff to help you with your spiritual journey. And also check out, my YouTube here. There's a ton of information. I've been putting videos up here for years, and I don't know how to make it like go viral and all crazy. I don't have a lot of followers on here, but there's a lot of information. And, I kind of think that maybe the divine wants to keep it that way, because when you get too big, they start watching you, right? And maybe this information is just for the few of you that find your way here. So I love you guys. I hope y'all have a great week. And, Sharon and I are going to be here Thursday. We're going to be talking about psychic stuff too, and you can get it in a little bit different perspective on Thursday at 4 Pacific time. And then after that, I'm doing a spirit circle at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you want to come and get a reading, that's only $33. So I'm doing a lot this week about psychic. You can get readings. You can get trained to do it. Whatever you need, I got it happening this week. So come play with me, would you? I love you guys. Everybody have a good week. I hope I'll see you in the meantime. And just remember, stay sparkly.